You might know me. I'm that booze explorer you've been following around the world. But I got sidelined with some tough news. Cancer.
Maybe you should consider using CBD.
And that started me on a whole new journey. And I want to explore it all. I have cancer. It doesn't have me. With the passage of the Farm Bill, hemp-derived CBD is now federally legal, which means there's a whole new ecosystem emerging right before our very eyes. So, what's it all about? And where's it headed? Oils, creams, vapes, bath bombs, gummies? Oh my God, is that good? Is CBD in any form really a cure for, well, just about everything? Today I'm doing fine, but I'm still insanely curious. So join me on this positive, fun, uplifting experience. I'm Jack Maxwell. Let's take the high road. Yes, let's take the high road. But first, a live Q&A with you. Because, well, what is the high road? This journey started when I got non-Hodgkin's lymphoma while doing a show called Booze Traveler on Travel Channel. Then I went into chemo, and I discovered how CBD and even medical marijuana, or THC, helped with my symptoms. They told me I was going to lose my hair. That never happened. They said I was going to get sick. I even bought an adjustable bed. That didn't happen because I believe I went into it with a very positive mindset. And I just thought I was going to be okay. You never know, of course, because I believe in science and medicine, but I knew that I could help myself if I stayed positive. That led into the high road because once I got the benefits from CBD, THC, I knew there were so many other people out there doing the same thing, basically. So we speak to everybody, elderly people, people from red states who thought it was against God's law to use it, pets, athletes. It's been really a wild ride. And that all starts at the top of the hour. So if you're on Facebook Live watching this, which is great, make sure you subscribe to my YouTube channel. And you'll have to, I guess, click on the link right after this. The show itself will play, like I said, at the top of the hour. But I think you have to choose the video. I'm not very good when it comes to technology. And then right after the show, we will have a post-show discussion with one of the guests on the show. So we got a nice bit of content here for you. Thank you for being with me. I think we have some questions right away. I promised on my last Q&A I'd get to some questions earlier without rambling on. So before I do that, let me get to some right now. Joyce wants to know how it can help with my chronic pain. Well, it certainly did with mine. I went to a pain clinic because the chemo was causing something called neuropathy. Basically, it was causing a lot of pain and inflammation, and the CBD really helped. But this is not an infomercial for that. I'm neither pro nor con, but I am pro education and being open-minded about things. And as you might have guessed by now, because there's so much information out there, basically we were lied to about cannabis in 1937 when it was put on the federally prohibited list. It was done so for economic reasons and for, well, I'm sorry to say, racial reasons. And then in 1970, President Nixon made it a class 1 drug right up there with heroin, which it never should have been. So well, for this reason, never used drugs growing up, including marijuana, because my father was a real bad drug addict. Some of you might know that. And I promised my mother I'd be a good boy and I wouldn't do any of that. Now, of course, I understand marijuana is nowhere near what heroin is, and we're finding out all these great things about it. I'm not saying it's a magic cure-all. Again, I'm not advocating for it. But there's so much anecdotal evidence that it's helping people. So why wouldn't we allow people to use it if it's easing suffering? That's what I'm trying to say. So, Joyce, I hope you will figure out how to deal with your chronic pain. Of course, as always, see a doctor. Anyway, this is my journey. We go all across the country, and we talk to all kinds of people about it all. As a matter of fact, I think we have some pictures from the show. What does CBD stand for? There's a lot of ways to pronounce that. Someone called it cannabidiol or cannabidiol. CANNABIDIOL. I feel like I'm at a spelling bee. So that's what CBD stands for. And as you'll find out, if you probably already know, cannabis grows two ways, basically as hemp and as marijuana. But anyway, before I decided to take this journey, I went up to Sedona. There's a picture right there. And I really wanted to think about this because I had made my mother this promise. But then I realized, of course, marijuana is not the drug they said it was. And why not? I just didn't want to turn into my father. That's all. I thought maybe I might have some genetic predisposition because once he tried the smallest drug back in the day, he lost it all, including his life, his family, everything. And he died at the exact same age I am now. So I had to do some thinking about it. So I go up to Sedona, which is this wonderful, beautiful, really mystical place. And I just sat there as the sun came up. And we also filmed that. So that's going to be part of the show. It's going to air on my YouTube channel or the High Road YouTube channel. Subscribe to them both. Every Friday, we're going to do this, 8:45 p.m. Eastern, 5:45 p.m. Pacific. We have guests, all kinds. When is the show airing? I just answered. You're a little late to the party there, James. I just answered that. And we have all kind of guests on. Athletes, people you'll know, people you don't. Just great stories from Americana of people who are discovering that has helped them. Some people are against it. It's totally fine. But again, it's all about opening your mind to the possibilities of anything in life. How did you figure out how much CBD to take for your pain? That's a very good question, Cameron. Very good question. I don't know that it's the same for everybody. So it's not as if, let's say, you have a headache and someone says, take 2 aspirin and call me in the morning, right? And generally speaking, depending, of course, a couple of aspirin, that'll work for your headache, generally speaking. But for this, CBD is so different because we have a different amount of cannabinoid receptors in our body. And I think depending on what else you're using, what else you're taking, how much pain you have, it's very specific. And it has, as you'll find out, I'm going to have a doctor on after the show to discuss all this. But you'll find out more from her. But it's something about half-life and everything else. So it's not specific to any one particular person. But certainly there's a lot of information out there. And then you just try and see for yourself because it really has done wonders for so many people. Jack, is the THC the marijuana part and CBD has no THC? I guess for the most part. I mean, this is how it is. Cannabis, as I said earlier, grows as hemp or as marijuana. Supposedly, you can't tell with the naked eye. I certainly don't know. If it has more than 0.03% THC, it's classified as marijuana. From my understanding, hemp does have, I didn't learn everything on the road. I learned some things. Hemp does have some THC in it, but less than the 0.03%, and it's not psychoactive at that level. So hemp was made for, used for clothes and rope and things like that. And then in the 80s, they discovered CBD in hemp. And from what I understand, CBD, along with THC, it's called full spectrum, is even more effective for all kinds of things. And you're going to see all of that on the show. We cover the political angles. We go to Colorado State House and talk to a state senator. And we talk to a lobbyist who was she worked for Big Pharma. And then she realized through her father's experience that, that's not what it's cracked up to be. And now she's a lobbyist for the cannabis industry. And she does it from the heart. We talked to a mom whose son, Jack, went through so much and how it really helped him. People who own pets, they're crying because it helped them so much. And again, this is not any kind of infomercial for CBD or anything like that. But to me, it was shocking how much it helped my condition. Because back in the day, of course, Either you got high or you didn't. You were a stoner or you weren't. You were a hippie or you were straight or a square, right? But now we realize through the discovery of CBD that so much else is going on. Now, see, we shut down our research, especially after 1970 when it was classified as a Schedule One drug. And Israel now leads the way. Other countries are still wide open. And so they are way ahead of us in research. Hopefully we'll catch up now. With the passage of the Farm Bill in 2019, 2018, the Farm Bill removed the prohibition on hemp. So it's not prohibited in the United States at all. The THC, the marijuana part, we're still working on that. But I think that as of this moment, there are 11 states who allow it for recreational use, and maybe 33 states that allow some form of medicinal use. What form of CBD did you add to your medical routine? Pill, oil, edible? Thank you for the question, Dana. I used a tincture, gummies as well from time to time, but mostly a tincture. I just think for me, it worked better. And of course, again, just like the form, the efficacy is going to be different for everybody. I just know it works. We hear from everybody, so many people who take in all forms. You can rub it on in a salve. You take it as a tincture or bath bombs they have, gummies, all of it, which was really surprising because like a lot of other people I know, I shut myself off to those possibilities because I just said, I'm not a user. And to this day, I'm not a recreational user, but I am for that still. I mean, I still have non-Hodgkin's lymphoma. I still have a couple of complications now and then from the chemo, and I guess I'll be a cancer either patient or survivor the rest of my life. But it's amazing what it has done for so many people. That's why we're bringing you this show. We're showing you there's a better way to do it. To take the high road means to be open-minded and to do everything you can to make your life better, whatever that is. But it starts with opening your mind and educating yourself. Did you run across anyone who was against cannabis and is now for it? That's a great question. More than one, I'll tell you. We went to, let's say, all right, I'll give you a specific example. We went to Kentucky. And there was this woman who had fallen and broken both her arms. And she was in great amount of pain. And she didn't want to take opiates at all. And her son, who was once a dairy farmer and became a hemp farmer, talked her into it. And she grew up in a different time, different era, where you're not supposed to do that. And so she never did. And she took it. And she had this wonderful, perfect mix of both relief and then anger, saying, why was I so against this? And it didn't hurt her. She thought it would. It didn't hurt her, and it helped. And she's just one of many. But thank you for that question, Denise Ogden. Appreciate it very much. And just a couple of minutes, we're going to roll right into the show. And then right after that, we're going to have Dr. Torres on, who is going to be a guest on my show. And she's going to expound a little more on the medical benefits or what, and maybe not. Sometimes it doesn't work for some people, and what her personal experience is. So I hope you'll stick around for that as well. But going up this, as I was saying, going up to Sedona and really thinking about this, it was a spiritual quest for me, because before I set out to do a show, as you know, you might know me from Boost Traveler on Travel Channel. Before I set out on this journey, it's a lot of work to do a television show or to do any kind of a show, and that's what the high road is. I mean, we travel through so many states in America and talk to so many people. It was a lot of work. And again, now I was still in the recovery stage, as I am now, but I wasn't struggling with my health, but I'm better now than I was then. And I said, well, before I take on this big project, am I ready to do so? And I thought about it. I sat with myself, and the answer was yes. And that's why we're bringing it to you now. So every Friday night right here. But again, if you're watching this on Facebook Live, please subscribe to my YouTube channel or the High Road YouTube channel and click on it and you'll see it. 8:45 Eastern, 5:45 Pacific. It's been a blast to do it, and I'm so happy to finally share this with you. I know some of you said that, when's the High Road coming? Because I was on the road for a long time, and then we had to get it edited down. And then now with lockdown, quarantine and all, we wanted to bring it to you as soon as we could. in a way that you could watch it whenever you want to. That's why it's going to be on YouTube. So thank you for joining me. This is, this is The High Road with Jack Maxwell. That's the full title. I hope you like it. Stick around. You can comment. I'll be commenting back. And, well, I appreciate you coming on the journey. So we'll see you on the other side of this show. Thank you.